How are you both?
Thank you very much for having us today. We are very good, and I want to greet everybody on the day of this auspicious day of yoga, June 21st. So, everybody, happy Yoga Day to all of you.
So if you could just talk to us about a little bit about the background behind this important day.
Yes, it's very important that we need to discuss about how International Day of Yoga came into existence. So, it came into existence in 2015 and it was proposed in the United Nations Assembly in 2014 by the Honorable Prime Minister of India, Shri Narendra Modi ji. And luckily, and with the support of more than 180 countries, it was passed in the UN General Assembly, and the first Yoga Day was celebrated in 2015 on 21st of June. Yes.
Very nice. And you've been doing yoga for a while, haven't you, yourself, personally?
Personally, you can say since childhood, but yes, I adopted yoga professionally as well when I was studying my Ayurveda, because yoga is also a part of Ayurvedic discourse. And then I decided to go for masters in yoga therapy so that I can help people in a professional way with the right knowledge and the right skills that requires to impart that knowledge.
And yoga is really body, mind, soul. So if you can just talk to us a bit about that. Sometimes people think yoga is just getting into different poses, but if we can just do a brief sort of summary on what it entails.
Yeah, and by saying that, I would like to take all of our listeners to back a little bit and to discuss about why it is being celebrated on today's date, that is 21st of June. It is a very significant day according astronomically, geographically, and in all the senses, because the northern hemisphere is most exposed to the sunlight. So its tilt is like that it is exposed most to the sun. So it is the longest day in the northern hemisphere, and it is the shortest day in the southern hemisphere. So in Australia, we can say we're having the shortest day of the year today, and the northern hemisphere, the people in India, they're having the longest day of the year. So it's called summer solstice in northern hemisphere, and we are here in southern hemisphere or in Australia, we are celebrating it as a winter solstice. So that's why it is very important, because it opens up the opportunity, it opens up the possibility. So yoga is all about possibilities, like you asked that how it can help us to attain the body-mind coordination and balance. So it is all about possibilities, and if you open up today and if you do practice today even a little bit with the feeling of surrender, that will give you a new start so that you can keep yourself on track, take the charge of your health, take the charge of your mind, and be in a balanced mode, physically, emotionally, spiritually, socially, communally, in every sense. This is what yoga is all about.
So how did you term it? Surrender?
Surrender yourself.
Surrender yourself.
Yeah. So when we say surrender, surrender means I'm not expecting anything from anybody. Surrender doesn't mean that I want something in return. So you just surrender yourself to yoga. So when you surrender, everything that you require will come by itself. Like we were just talking before the talk, that nowadays if you like a few posts on Facebook, or you like a few videos on YouTube, or any other way nowadays with social media is working, you will start having those similar videos, referrals, those sort of things. And this is what yoga is all about. Yoga is also when you vibrate in a certain sense, similar thoughts will start coming towards you as well. No, it's not only on social media, it's about the world, it's about your life, and it's about the people around you. It works in the same way. You start having good thoughts, you start helping people, you start doing good things will start happening to you automatically.
I think that's important to say that part of surrendering, because I think a lot of time we expect something, when we go to the gym we expect to get fit or to lose weight or to build muscle mass. So when we do yoga, people think, I want to achieve inner peace, I don't want to worry anymore, I don't want to think anymore. But, it's not really that. Like you said, surrendering and then letting it all unfold naturally.
Naturally, and things will come to you by its own.
Yeah.
When you surrender and you do just your part, which is to practice, and with the routine of practice,
Yes.
you will start feeling the changes, you will start seeing the changes automatically. and it's written as the biggest or the most revered book of yoga is the Bhagavad Gita. So there are many definitions of yoga in Bhagavad Gita itself, and the very easy one to understand and the very important one is which we call the Samatvam Yoguchyate. So in Sanskrit it means that equanimity, balance is yoga. So balance of what? Equanimity or equilibrium of what? So then comes into the play the body and mind. So how to get your body into a balance? By doing those asanas, by doing some of the restraint practices, that not to do this, not to, so be truthful always, not to tell a lie. These sort of observances and restraints will help us to be a good human being to start with. Then doing some physical postures will always help you to align your body accordingly to the bigger universe. So it's all about alignment. When you align in a certain way, the Wi-Fi will get connected and knowledge will start flowing. This is what yoga is all about. This is what yoga is all about. And sometimes people just think that doing a physical thing have only the physical effects. It's not like that. Because when you connect certain physical postures with the breathing, they have very deep-rooted effects on your psyche, on the psychiatric. Nowadays there are many studies, many researches on the meditators who are long-term meditators, short-term meditators, how their brain wavelengths are working and all. So most of the times even there are outer disturbances, but they are at peace within. So this is what we need to achieve nowadays, that peace within. Outside world can be bit disturbed, can be having those sort of disturbances or those sort of poking things around you, but you should be at peace within. So your peace or your happiness should not always depend on the outer environment. This is what yoga tells us, teaches us, and asks us to follow.
So how does that relate to our sort of world with other people in it? Because we interact with other humans, they hold a different energy and that sort of thing. Is a yoga philosophy also talking about a balance between, seeing people and socializing with people and being in solitude?
Yes. These all things are very important when a practitioner is on the path of yoga. So yes, living in solitude is also important so that you can work on yourself. We need some my time or me time,
Yeah.
We all talk about this thing. And if you can go into solitude and do certain practices, that can give you a quick effect, so that you can speed up the way you want to be. And dealing with other people having different sort of energies, yoga always suggests that if you are not liking the energy, not liking the environment, better not to be there.
Really? Is that what it suggests?
Yes. So whatever
Really?
disturbs your peace, you can leave that. No need to, forcefully be in that situation. Nobody is forcing us to be in that situation at that time. If that is a disturbing situation, you can go away. Or if you can help in certain way, you should help. But if you can't do anything and it's disturbing your peace, a certain company of people, group of people, or the way you socialize, we all have to observe those things and choose wisely, I will say.
Okay.
We also need to consider our senses as well. Like we need to think about the when we're talking about the company we keep, it's very important that we do protect ourselves as well. And we look at the amount of time and the value and the input, and is it actually going to mean anything, and are you wasting your time, and or those sorts of things. And then you sort of step back and analyse it, and you're protecting yourself, and you're looking at your environment, looking at the quality of your sleep as well, and the rest, and just the things that you do from a day-to-day basis. Because if all of that energy is going into something that you can't fix or resolve or change, then is it worth it? So where do you put your energies and your trust and your hope and your love and your compassion? And because you do want to see something for it, because you're putting a lot of effort into it. So, and yoga gives you that peace of mind to be able to look at the reality of situations. It's really important. Yeah.
I suppose it's also, again, back to finding a balance, because sometimes we can't avoid certain situations or people, you know, sometimes in workplaces or families or close
Exactly.
interactions with friends,
Yeah.
there's going to be different natures and characters. So it's a matter of, you know, like the saying, water off a duck's back, or
Yeah.
just to be an observer.
Absolutely.
So we've still got to be in those times too,
Yes.
to not always run off.
No, not so much to run off, but it's how much you commit to that.
That's true, yes.
Yeah,
You
how
said
much
that,
you
you both
commit
said
to
that.
it,
How
you
much
know,
you
commit to it, and hopefully things can change too. People can change, you know. So if they see that they're not being aggressive and abusive and all those sorts of things isn't the appropriate behaviour, because it's not, then hopefully by them being in a calm environment in your presence, that can rub off onto them as well. So it can be very, very fortuitous for everybody. So,
Yeah, I do believe in that.
Yeah,
I do
it
sort of.
does.
You see that, you know,
Yeah.
they say usually in a family there's, or, you know, you've heard the importance of there being a one angel in a family or one angel in a group of friends. You know, the one person that just silently prays for everyone, all different
Yes.
natures. You need one
Yes.
to just, not always just bear the brunt, but someone to just understand more
Yeah.
and say, okay, maybe because I understand more, it's my turn to just
Yeah.
sit here and pray for their energy
Yeah.
or something like
Yeah.
By
that.
saying
That notion.
Yes.
by saying that, I want to add on that in such a situation, it's always good to be just an observer rather than to participate. When we say participate, not only physically but mentally, this is the most important part here, that sometimes we don't consider this thing as important as it should be. But participation doesn't only mean a physical participation, it also includes the mental participation. So are you putting your energies towards that thing or not? If that's not a very happy situation, you can contain your energies to yourself and not to get indulged into that situation. If it's a disturbing one, so again, like I'll bring back to that point where I said that the outer environment should not describe your inner happiness.
Yes, exactly.
So if we keep on thinking about that, is it worth for me to get angry, or worth for me to have an outburst? Then what? No? So always, like it's always said, think before you speak.
Yeah.
So always think before you act. This is what yoga tells us. When you are in a correct balance, your body and your mind, you will do whatever is required in that situation, not what you want to do. Many of the time we are intent driven people. We are intent driven people. We say, oh, I have very good intentions to help that thing, you know. For example, in this COVID situation, you know, all over around the world, people are suffering. If I want to help, but I'm not a qualified practitioner or a doctor, then even with the good intention, I can do more harm than good. Intentions are there. Intentions are at its best. Intentions are good. But I am not qualified for that. So what do intentions can do only? So intentions are good, yes, okay, but we should not be driven by the intents. We should be driven by the actual balance and whatever is required in that situation, not what we want to.
Okay. So we get that through yoga and that discipline, like you said before, having a routine too. So I think lots of times people think, oh, I'll do it on a Monday and Friday or something. But do you think it's important to do yoga like every second day or every day, just a little bit, 10 minutes every day?
Yeah,
For discipline.
by saying that, start with whatever you can. I will say to all of our listeners, start with whatever you can, but I can tell you that you can do yoga with every single breath that you take in and you take out.
Really, like just us sitting here now,
Yeah.
we can do yoga
Yes.
through breath.
Yes, even if you just concentrate on your breath, how you are filling in your lungs and how you are emptying your lungs, how much you are inhaling in and how much you are exhaling out. So just concentrate on that. That's yoga. The whole idea of doing physical postures is to get the physical stability so that you have the capacity to sit for longer hours.
Okay.
So that when we are fit and stable enough to sit for longer hours, then only you can meditate, or then only you can practice your concentration. Most of the people struggle to meditate or for the concentration practices because as soon as within 2 to 5 minutes, like just now, things will start scratching here and there without any reason. And you will say, oh, my knees, oh, my back, right? So to get that stability in your body, first of all, physically, you need to practice those asanas so that you can get physical stability. Because asanas, whatever asanas you perform, one should include at least one of the supine posture, one of the sitting posture, one of the prone posture, and one of the standing posture.
Yeah.
So one should include all those 4 categories of asanas, and by repetitive practice, one will get the stability. And asanas in Patanjali Yoga Sutra, which is a very revered book of Yoga Sutra, which decipher the codes of yoga, it says that asana should give you stability, strength, and you should be able to perform that asana with ease. So if you are attaining those 3 things, that means you are on the right track. If you are stable enough in one asana, you can stay there for a longer time without any discomfort, with the good flow of breath. That means you are doing that asana in a correct manner. And breathing, as we always discuss, is the most important, because breathing, we are breathing 24/7 without a stop since the day we came into existence, and until the day our journey is finished on this planet. So breathing is one thing that always keep you alive, but we seldom notice that. I keep on saying this 100 times or 1,000 times, doesn't matter, that we seldom notice our breathing, but we need to notice our breathing. And if you notice our breathing, if we can regulate our breathing with the help of pranayama practices, then you can regulate those breathing during those crisis situation as well, to keep you calm, keep you focused, keep you content, keep you balanced. And then however way you will respond will be for the good. So then you will only respond, then you will not react. So this is the problem that most of the people are having. We usually suddenly jumps into a situation and start reacting to that situation, rather than to think before and then respond. So that is the difference between a response and a reaction. We always need to ask ourselves this question: am I responding or am I reacting? If you get the right answer, go for it.
So I think we all notice that in a challenging situation, or let's say a stressful situation, our breathing does change. But are you saying that if we practice this, our breathing won't change, or it will change, but we just change it straight away to remain calm?
Yes, good question, very important one. And when our body is going through any sort of stress reaction or stress situation, we call them triggers. So body will get a trigger, and body physiology will change to adapt to that situation so that you can perform to get out of that situation, or the flight and fight mode, as we say, right? Your pupil will dilate, your circulation will go up, blood pressure will go up, your digestion will go down, because the circulation we don't need there, we need it in our arms and legs, so that if we need to run, we can run, if we need to fight, we can fight. So, and our breathing will go shallow and quick, right? Our heartbeat will go faster. Yes, because of some of the chemical changes happening in our body, because the adrenaline, the stress hormone, or the cortisol as we call it. But yes, if you are a good practitioner, even in such a situation, at least you can assess yourself that stress is building upon you, and you can contain that stress if you know what it looks like and how to contain it, how to maintain it, how to bring back your body and breathing to balance. Until and unless we know it, we will not follow it. So these are all about the tools that one should have in their pocket all the time, that whenever you require it, use it.
Yeah, and you're right what you say to know when it's there, because sometimes we hear people say it creeps up. They think they're okay, they thought they were handling things, but it was sort of creeping up and they didn't realise that it was taking effect. So
Yeah,
to
and-
acknowledge, okay, let's do something here.
And if any sort of triggers stay there for too long, it will start settling in your body as a physical symptom, and which will take the form of a disease. And we do follow these principles when we design our yoga therapy modules for our clients at East West Ayurveda and Yoga. So we consider each one as an individual independent entity. We understand how their body type is, we understand what their needs are, how their psychological health is, their mental health is, spiritual health is, physical health is. Then we decide and discuss, and then we design a protocol for them that suits their needs so that you can get what you want.
Okay.
A good healing outcome.
Mm.
And then that becomes your maintenance. You know, once you've learned how to do that, then everything else about your lifestyle, your environment, your rest, your nourishment, all those things, you just want to raise the level, because why do that if you're not looking after every other aspect of it? So essentially you're creating a new reset button for yourself. And you might wander off a little while, but you will always come back to it because you've had a taste of what that feels like, and you want more of it. It becomes almost like an addiction. I like to feel well. I like to get up in the morning and look forward to doing my yoga practice or my breath or pranayama. You just naturally just want to do that, and that's the reformation that happens, and that's a wonderful thing about what we do. You know, like the changes that we see in our clients is astounding, and we get very excited about that because they love their new reset button and they come back for more. It's great.
So what about the importance of morning yoga, and what's the ideal time to wake up? I understand, you know, we've talked about this a little bit before in the Ayurveda segments, the principles of waking early, you know, with the sun and not sleeping in too much, that sort of thing. So how does that sort of tie in rising early, yoga?
Yeah, that's the good point. And one should design their daily routine, like you said, by getting up early so that you can have ample time for all your morning activities. Otherwise, we just get up and we just rush.
Yeah.
You know, kids to school, yourself to office, and again in the office, again rush. And now I have to pick my kids from school. Now I have to, you know, go back and finish some unfinished business. Again rush. Then we don't have time to eat properly, sleep properly, or do anything properly. So if you design your daily routine according to your schedule, that will help you. Yes, it's always preferable to get up early in the morning if you can do some yoga practices. And there are a few things that I want to share with our listeners, that one should always empty their bowels before doing yoga practices, which is good. But if someone is still struggling to empty their bowels, which is okay, that's okay. Start practicing. Eventually you will get that right habit by the course of practice, right? So few of the things that one should take care of before doing yoga practices is that one should be empty stomach or the light stomach. If you want to do practice yoga in the evening, at least 4 hours gap from the big meals, right? And 30 to 40 minutes gap of anything liquid.
Really?
Yes.
Right.
Before and after as well, I will say at least 20 to 30 minutes rest or gap before you eat or drink anything. Or even if you want to have a shower, at least wait for 30 minutes. Or if you want to eat your dinner or your breakfast in the morning, at least 30 minutes should be given to the body, because when you do yoga, it's a very subtle process of gaining that balance, you know. And once you've attained a little bit of balance, 2%, 5%, 10% of that, whatever, depending upon how your class is going. So the next step is to maintain that balance for a longer period of time. Then it will become eventually your habit. It will become your second nature. But if we start disturbing that nature as soon as you attain it, that will not get imprinted in your mind, in your brain, in your body cells, in your memories. then you will not attain the longer effects of you doing yoga or practicing yoga. So it's always important, once you've attained that state of balance, that state of calmness, stay in that state for as long as you can.
Okay. And keep it there with the breath too.
Yes, always.
Always.
And that's why, because today is very auspicious day, and we are here to share all the knowledge with our listeners. And in the evening, we are also getting a free yoga class arranged.
Yes, tonight.
And
Tonight.
Lee will put some more
Excellent.
light
Oh,
on
good.
that, I
Yes,
will say,
please.
Lee.
Absolutely. So for all of our listeners, if you're in Norwood tonight and you're near the Clayton Wesley Church, then please drop in, because we're offering some free yoga tonight, and we've also got starting at 6:30. So if you've got a yoga mat and a blanket, please bring it along. We do have some there, by the way, but if you don't, that's no problem either. We can
Yeah.
cater for that. And afterwards, we're also going to have some chai and some herbal tea and a chat, because our lovely Beatrice will be also hosting a yoga session tonight with Dr. Sharma. So it will be a lovely, lovely session, and we'll go for about, I don't know, an hour and a half, something like that. So you're most welcome to come and join us. There's plenty of parking there, so... and it's
6:30.
6:30, yeah, absolutely.
Can we have the address?
Yes, number 280, Portrush Road,
Norwood.
Norwood, yeah. Or Beulah Park, it might be, sort
Excellent.
of same thing, yeah.
How many people fit in that room?
I would say maximum capacity for us would be about 18.
Mm-hmm.
And at the moment we're looking at, I think we have 12 coming tonight, so there's a few
Oh,
little...
they've checked in. Do
Yes.
people have to book?
Well, it'd be nice to let us know.
So you know,
yeah,
you can
yeah,
plan.
that would be great.
And how many chais to make?
And yeah, well, we always have a lot of chai because
Oh, you
we
always
like
got
it.
chai on tap. Just remind me how you do your chai again.
We do it with water and
Water.
herbs, and you boil it down, then you add some tea, and then you add some A2 milk to it, and maybe a little fingernail
bit
of
of-
ghee, just to help it all wash down.
You have okay.
A big pot of it.
A2 milk. Okay. What herbs? Like cinnamon,
What-
cloves,
yeah,
cardamom.
Cardamom, ginger,
Turmeric.
a bit of fresh ginger if you've got it.
Oh, you
or-
put fresh ginger in, not
Yeah.
powdered.
Yeah, and also
Really?
lemongrass goes really nice in there for summer too. It's a really, like you change it
Lemongrass.
up, because you know how we always talk about seasons.
Yeah.
We always sort of change
Yeah,
the herbs
true.
according to the seasons, and at the moment, because it's been so cold,
Yeah.
like things like clove, nutmeg, ginger are all
Mm.
warming, and just it smells like Christmas. It really does.
Heats you up, doesn't it, the
It's
ginger?
fabulous.
I wondered why I was warm one night, and my husband said, "Is that tea? What's in it?" I said, "Oh, it is. It's a ginger tea. I
Yeah.
put 2 tea bags in,
Yeah.
made
Yeah.
a double strength ginger
Yeah.
tea, and I was hot. It really heats you up from within.
Yeah.
Well, that's the little fire starter.
Not like
you know?
peppermint. Was it peppermint that cools you?
Yeah.
So I got a
Peppermint, yeah.
peppermint when I'm
Yeah.
hot.
Yeah,
Peppermint
that's it. Yeah, so when you're having a hot flush.
Yes, that's over here.
Or if you are feeling too much heat, you can just
Yeah.
make coriander tea. That's also have
Yeah.
those cooling
Coriander
properties.
tea.
Yeah,
That's it.
it's delicious.
Reduces the heat.
Mm.
Right.
And also, we have all sorts of recipes for all sorts of different things, you know, like for hormones, for balancing all the 6 tastes, for pain, you know, those sorts of things. There's all the kitchen herbs that we just might put in a curry or something else, all have amazing amount of medicinal properties. And understanding that is your medicine cabinet, which we've spoken about, and,
Yeah.
and just doing that is more than enough most of the time, you know, so very cleansing, you know,
Yeah.
growing your own tulsi or holy basil,
Yeah.
having a cup of that.
Tulsi's basil, isn't it?
Yes,
Yeah.
holy
right.
basil, yeah. And also,
Yeah,
auspiciously, you can put a tulsi plant in the northeastern corner of of the house.
Really?
Yeah, yeah. It cleanses, it brings opportunity and wealth and health into the house. East,
Eastern.
yeah, northeastern corner, or grow one
Oh.
outside.
What's the theory behind that? Where does that come from?
Yeah, there are many certain practices where we need to do certain things in certain direction, and they also do have certain effects on our body, our mind, and the things you do. It all goes with the the North Pole, the South Pole, the magnetic fields, and
Yeah.
all those sort of
Mm.
things. We
Makes
know
sense,
that
yeah.
there are
Mhm.
magnetic fields of the earth, and when you align certain things having certain properties or certain, because everything is made of energy, right? So it depends what sort of energy that thing or a plant or whatever it is
Yeah.
containing. So if you align that energy with the right alignment of the earth and our poles, you will get good effects. Simple.
Yeah, that's right. And we hear people saying as well, put your bed at a certain spot in the room,
Absolutely.
facing this way, that way. You follow all that stuff too, or not?
Yeah, that's okay. But the more important is that you be your own in charge. Do whatever you want, but do practice yoga so that
Yeah.
if you want to nullify any those sort of effects, you can nullify that by
Yeah.
practicing yoga and practicing breathing, because your modem, your router, your Wi-Fi connection will be stronger one, and nobody can interrupt that.
Yeah.
So simple as it is. So make yourself stronger within and without. So when you are stronger, when you are in balance, you are breathing properly, you can bend properly, and you can think properly, think clearly, then there is no problem in anything.
That's right.
And you just feel
Yeah.
really good as well,
Yeah.
like your body is zinging.
Yeah.
You can bend down and pick things up without, you look at a lot of people who really struggle just bending down and getting up off the floor, and
Yeah,
and
exactly those things.
none of those things happen, when you've been doing a really good quality yoga practice.
Yeah.
You can do all of those things
Mm.
into your 60s and 70s. There's no reason why you shouldn't be able to
Exactly.
do that. So that's really why, start doing it now. Don't
Yeah.
wait, don't not let it happen.
Yeah.
And it's great for an oxygenated body is a healthy body, and it's also a disease-free body.
It gives us energy.
Absolutely, everything you need it to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else before we finish off? And can we go out with a little,
Yep.
when you're
Yeah.
ready, a little prayer?
So we want to finish our session with a prayer today. So that prayer is for the peace and harmony for the world. So I will just request all of us to join our hands into Namaskar Mudra by joining the palms, and your thumb should be touching to the center of your chest. We can gently close our eyes, keeping our back straight. Take a deep breath in and exhale completely. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah, Sarve Santu Niramaya, Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu, Ma Kaschid Dukh Bhag Bhavet. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. This prayer says that may everyone should be free of disease, may everyone should be happy, may everyone should not get any sort of disease or pain or any sort of discomfort. So we are praying for the harmony and peace of the world.
Very nice. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for having us
Yes.
again, and